Action. Good evening, wonderful students of Achievers University. We are here again, another Friday for the AUO conversation with Fajek on the Achievers University student Twitter space. It is with much delight I announce to us this evening our guest for the evening, Senator AJ. Is a political advocate and enthusiast. Over the years, he has had research and he has given lectures on politics, Nigeria history, and Nigeria economy, and is quite a spec and a speaker par excellence. We will be here this evening to educate us on the topic as initially discussed, understanding Nigeria political system, Nigeria political and economic system. So once again, you are all welcome to this space, and I remain your humble host, Fajek Faith Oladele Victor, aka Fajek. Last week we were here on a Saturday, and then we talked about leadership versus studentship, and I believe it was a wonderful one for all of us as we learned how we could manage leadership as and being a student at the same time. And we are here once again to learn about our country, Nigeria, our structure, our political structure, our political economy, and how we as young ones, as young people, can develop, quite a passion for the political system and for the political space. So we'll be discussing on many things, though our subject, our core subject here will be, Nigeria politics and economy. I think I've spoken enough. Before we go on, let me give Senator AJ the space to introduce himself.
Good day, fellow Achievers students. Good day, students. Good day, Achievers. Good day, Nigeria. My name is Ade, but I go by the name Senator AJ. A politician aspirant. I also have a YouTube channel that I talk on politics, economy, Nigeria itself, Africa. Yes, I've been pushing Africanism since like my childhood days. So it's more like a culture. It's more like what I'm used to, a day-to-day activity.
Thank you very much. So, as we begin, Nigeria is we are an African country,
Yes.
and then we were once a colonized state. I was say once a colonized state, and then now we are independent. And then I think we practice presidential kind of government, where we have a president who is nominated through the concept of democracy to rule the 36 states in Nigeria and also the capital, the Abuja City. Now I want you to give me your understanding of when we were once a parliamentary state. That was when we had a prime minister who was, I think, the first and only prime minister we had was Tafawa Balewa, very well. Yes. And then we had the president then who was Nnamdi Azikiwe. So can you please contrast and compare? How do you think Nigeria was then when we were practicing parliamentary government and how we are now when we are practicing presidential kind of government?
Thank you very much, Mr. Fajek. Well, during the time of parliamentary system of government, parliamentary system of government is a system of government in which there is the head of state and head of government.
Very well.
So the president is the head of state. He does all the ceremonial functions. You get, like, if there's a visitor in the country, like the Queen or the King of England, or maybe the President of Ghana is coming to visit Nigeria. As the president, we go and welcome the person and show the person around. But also, the prime minister, his work is to handle the affairs of the government.
Yeah.
So, but both of them do checkmate each other. You get. Yeah. So, at that period in time, Nigeria had a good economy during that time because that was in the 1960s. Nigeria's economy was very, very, very standard. Dollar was naira was even stronger than dollar at that period.
I can remember, though I was not there.
So my parents also told me also I was not born that time. So that period, the head of state and head of government, there are two people, two in one. So they do what they call check and balance.
Yeah.
They serve as watchdog for each other. You get. So one person cannot just carry out another. He has to inform the other person. Then you have to inform the cabinet member also. But compared to presidential system of government, even though they are being elected in form of democracy, but sometimes if we look at it very well, are we practicing democracy? Because Godfatherism has become the order of the day. If you don't know someone, you can't do the right thing. You get. So I'll say parliamentary system of government as during its time, as its peak, has its ups and downs, its cons and pros. Also, presidential system has had its cons and pros. So you can remember the time of the good of Jonathan, things were good during this period. So you get. So but that period, you say, comparing in everybody's way, I can say presidential system of government is the best. Okay. You can say parliamentary system of government is the best. But if you look at things, if you look at the economy during that period, and now we say so far so good, parliamentary system of government has been better during the era, like the 1960s to 1963, when Nnamdi Azikiwe was the president of Nigeria, and while Tafawa Balewa was the prime minister. So at that point, at that era, Nigeria was good, was at its peak, blooming days, was at its blooming days, was at its peak, at its glory days. But now, I can't even say whether presidential system has done harm or it has done good, because we don't even know what has been the order of the day. So to me, parliamentary system of government has tried its best to
I think I will go with what you just said. I still appreciate the effort of parliamentary system of government in Nigeria over the years. Just what you said initially was they acted as watchdog for each other. Nnamdi Azikiwe could call Tafawa Balewa to caution, and Tafawa Balewa could call Nnamdi Azikiwe to caution whenever he's overstepping his boundary. But imagine here where a president nominates the ministers, he nominates his chief of staff, and other prominent people in his cabinet, he nominates the chief advisor. You can't tell me those people will call him to order. He's the one paying their money. He's the one, they are working for him, and he nominated them. It will take courage, not just the normal courage we think of, to take extreme courage to call such a person to order. Okay. So I still feel parliamentary system of government was being the best, because these guys were sharing equal rights, they were sharing equal authorities, and then I could call this other one to order, and then the other one could call Nnamdi Azikiwe to order. That is perfect. Okay. Nigeria gained independence on the 1st of October 1960 after, I think, a UK or US Congress meeting in 1957, and then 3 years after that we gained independence. What would you say about Nigeria economic system, about Nigeria infrastructure, about Nigeria political system before we gained independence? That's when we say a colonized state, or after we've gained independence, which means we are now a sovereign state. Some people will say Nigeria have grown into more jeopardy and has become more condemned, or have become a deplorable state even after independence. While others will say, okay, to an extent, we are becoming better. What would you say about that?
Well, to me, Nigeria was not ripe for its independence.
So you mean we didn't get independent at the right time?
Yes. Because let me tell you this, I will explain my reasons why. The fact is, a white man, if a white man comes to a foreign land and he sees resources he wants, let me not say a white man, if a normal human being enters a foreign land and sees the resources that he or she wants, and the place is not conducive for him or her, what is the right thing to do? What will he or she do? I will make sure the place is conducive for me and my people or my family to stay. That was what was happening in Nigeria. Okay, let's take a look at South Africa. During the time of the apartheid and stuff, during the time of the apartheid, there was a law between the blacks and the whites. If you look at the places of the whites in South Africa, it was more like as if you're in London. As if you're in London, because that place was developed.
Yeah.
It was standard. It was at its peak.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at Lagos.
Okay.
During the time of the military regime, or let me say during the time of the colonial era, Lagos was like more of the base.
Yeah.
Where they
stay.
You reside on the island and where the British came into Nigeria. Those places are still far developed before every other place in Nigeria, because they made sure that where they were, they took it to its peak. They made it developed. Then looking at saying is Nigeria whether we are our economy during that period, okay? Well, if you are under being let me just use the term slave. A master cannot make sure his or her slave outshines him or her. He will still be under its clause, or him or her clause. So Nigeria was still under the clause during the colonial era, because we're not even operating using naira. We're using the pound. So it was in 1973 when we changed to naira and kobo. So Nigeria's economy, even though it was good anyway, it was good. Nigeria's economy was good, but when Nigeria came into its own ends, when Nigeria gained its independence and was into power by itself, that was when then greed sets in, corruption sets in. Even though the whites have their indirect rule of trying to manipulate Nigeria and stuff like that, but as time goes on, we lost integrity to ourselves.
We lost integrity.
Yes, we lost integrity. Because how can you vow to promise, or you promise that you are going to make Nigeria a better place, and all of a sudden you enter into power and you are embezzling funds, siphoning funds, taking them
to your personal wallet,
for your personal wallet, for your family, taking them to accounts abroad, while your neighbor is suffering or your country is suffering, and you don't care. So that has been the order of the day anyway. But the time, what happened in Nigeria, that during the time of the colonial era, Nigeria's economy was good to its standard, and after its independence, it was at its peak also. But now, it's declining. We just pray and hope for the best.
We pray and hope for the best. And one way I think we can hope for the best, same thing I think I told you during the last AUO conversation with Fajek, was we need good leaders.
Yes.
And that is why the necessity of that edition was just the best we could have. We need leaders who can be groomed and trained at this prime age of their life, so that when they get out there, outside the four corners of an academic institution, and they want to mount the mantle of leadership or the position of leadership, they'll be able to decipher and phantom what is the right thing to do and what is not the right thing to do. And that is why leadership training, leadership summit, leadership empowerment and awareness is key in the political system. Now, what do you think of our recent Nigerian leaders? One thing I know about life is that for a bad situation, no matter how bad the situation is, it favors some people.
Yes.
And then it's worst to others. Do you know that even when people complain that Buhari's administration was one of the worst Nigeria has ever seen, it still favors some people. Some people bought houses, people bought Rolls Royce and all other mansions in Abuja here, and then some people were ballers during this same administration.
Yes.
What do you think of our recent administration? Can you make a vivid illustration from when we say democracy, from Obasanjo?
Okay.
Let's leave the interim president. Let's leave the interim president we had.
So like from 1999.
Yes, till date. From Obasanjo to Yar'Adua, to Goodluck finishing Yar'Adua's tenure, to Goodluck rerunning again, then to Buhari, two administration that is almost coming to an end by the 29th of this month. What can we say about all these administrations?
Okay. Okay. Let's start with Sir Olusegun Obasanjo, General Olusegun Obasanjo. Well, he's one of my mentors. I like his charisma. Being a military leader, was a military leader.
And I heard of your military virtues.
So being a military leader, he ruled as an head of state. He went to jail as an ex-convict. He came back and proved that he could still hold the mantle of leadership of Nigeria and ran for 8 years. Was the first person to do it. Yes. Broke the history. So during his period, his administration was at least he worked during the administration, but there are news or rumors concerning his vice president, that was Sir Atiku Abubakar, that he was siphoning public funds, and he wrote a book about it, and he has been one of the should I use the word, permit to use the word nemesis of Sir Atiku Abubakar from running for president. So that means to him, he feels that he tried his best and his vice president sabotaged his efforts.
What do you feel of a government, of a president, or of a head of a government who can't contain his subordinates? Because I still feel a president has upper hand.
Yes.
Than the vice. So you are aware that the vice was siphoning money and you couldn't say something. So for me, as a straight or one-way thinking personality, I might think he has a hand in it. What do you say?
I would say what Sir Obasanjo said, or General Obasanjo said, was that he delegated responsibility. He told Sir Atiku as VP to manage the economy of the country, while he wants to manage the security aspect and other aspect. So while he was focusing on the boundaries and making strengthening the military, providing security and the rest, being as because 2 is 1, the vice president and president are 1.
Yeah.
So feeling his
the
second half is doing the proper work. God knows what he was doing, because we don't want to lay claims on people. So when he was like, okay, then his economy, his administration was, well, we will not say his administration was not favorable, but at least, as he said, everybody in every administration there are people that will benefit and some people that will not benefit. So his administration was, well, it was good to his own extent. It was good to his own taste and his own performance. So moving on to Sir Yar'Adua, Umaru Yar'Adua, in blessed memories. Well, to me, he was one of the best presidents ever, because during his regime or administration, Nigeria was Nigeria experienced fortune, because everything, price of petrol decreased, price of commodities decreased. It was as if Nigeria was gaining back its former glories, was restoring back its fortune, its strength. Same thing goes to Sir Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. He came into power as his vice when the president died. He completed the tenure and he ran for the election, and he also did well. The only problem that he had was Boko Haram insurgents. During that time, I can remember very well, during Jonathan's regime, bag of rice was 9,000 naira. You get?
My passport generator was 10,000.
Things were cheap, and dollar that period was 200 naira. Dollar was 200 naira to $1. So his administration was good. Also, he followed the legacy of his president. But now, Nigeria during 2015 election were declaring change, one change. It seems like as if Nigeria was not satisfied with what they wanted or what they had. We don't know what we want. Then Sir Muhammadu Buhari came into power and said he was grant us the change. Being a military head of state and fighting again, bringing up the agenda of war against indiscipline during his period with Idi Agbon as vice, he came into power. We expected the change. We are anticipating change. Then all of a sudden, we didn't get the change we wanted.
We got the wrong change.
It was the wrong change. It's as if he was preaching that.
And you know one thing I heard from someone, a friend of mine, he said, Buhari is not to be blamed. He told us change. He didn't tell us negative
Think of positive. We didn't ask him, sir, what kind of change are you talking about? Is it the negative
We are just so desperate
or
to get out of
positive?
the hands of Jonathan.
Oh, Jonathan, not knowing that from my essay from frying pan to fire. So bag of rice from 9,000 naira is now 30,000 naira or 30,000 naira. That means a minimum wage of 30,000 naira. That's a salary earner of 30,000 naira.
Just
Cannot buy a bag of rice with the salary. That's devastating. That's depressing. So if I work for 30 days straight, I can't use my salary to buy a bag of rice for my family. Dollar increase. Dollar is now on 750 per dollar. We now have black market rate and CBN rate. CBN rate is 463 naira, but nobody wants to be buying a CBN rate. Everyone wants to buy black market rate. But wants the excess money, wants to make the make money fast scheme. So this administration has been Nigeria's this 8 years, for these 7.5 close to 8 years, have tried. For you to see, some of my friends say,
enjoyed a lot.
Some of my friends say that Nigeria, they ask what you do for a living. I'm a Nigerian. But being a Nigerian is a full-time job. It's a full-time. See, we need to be paid salary for being a Nigerian.
I think Buhari promised us 5,000.
He promised us student loans and everything. We didn't see anything. So being a Nigerian is a full-time job because this economy was choking. Because a lot of people lost property, a lot of people lost money, a lot of people lost their business, people lost their job. They lost life. Nigeria doing this for 8 years is on its way of third recession. For 8 years, we're having 3 recessions, 8 years. Went through pandemic and a lot of that. So Nigeria, this election, then this forthcoming, this election that we just concluded, 2023 election. The 2023 election, according to everybody, is the should I say most disastrous election ever in the history of Nigeria, because this election is far from free and fair. Because according to the INEC chairman Muhammad Yakubu, he promised us, and it is in the constitution, that the results will be uploaded and be transmitted through beavers. That's biometric verification.
Yes.
That was what he promised us. Then the day of election, we are seeing another thing. I would like to say one thing that Nigerians did and have taken. A wise man once said, never underestimate someone coming from behind. Respect them. Respect those that have gotten into position, gotten into power. Fear those that are coming from behind. Because those that are in power, you have seen their future, you have seen where they are, you have seen their trademark. But those that are coming, you don't know what they are bringing in. You don't know what they are coming with, rather.
You don't know the machine gun. And
you don't know the ammunition they are coming with. Peter Obi was underestimated.
He was underestimated. And that's what I think is my new supplication now. Please underestimate me. Please let me.
And I will shock you like Peter Obi. Because in this election, Peter Obi was a pain in the ass for Sir Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. Was a pain in the ass for APC.
You can say that again.
In his campaign, I can remember very well. Sir Tinubu said, is it Obi? He does not know the route. He's from Anambra, he stays in Lagos. We'll show him the route. They said Peter Obi does not have structure. But the crowd that he pulled, he surprised everyone. Peter Obi won Lagos. The fact that he won the Jagaban of Lagos in his
whole cabal.
He won the city boy in his seat. Let's look at everything now. The analysis are there.
Then they not suppose a trade.
That's suppose that. Let's see. Let me say. You call yourself the president-elect of the country, or president-elect. You have been declared president-elect. Let's see. How can you become president-elect and where you are, where you are coming from? You are not loved. Let's look at it. Atiku Abubakar won Adamawa State.
Very well played.
Kwakwaso won Kano.
Very well, with a very big margin.
Obi won Anambra.
So how can you, the city boy,
you didn't win your city. FCT, you said you want to rule FCT. He didn't win
Yes.
FCT. Obi won Lagos. Obi won Abuja FCT. And you are coming. According to I will say according to Arise TV and according to a human rights activist,
Yeah.
he said on Arise TV that the election in Lagos State result was being doctored.
Mm.
And I will not say I not agree more, because the election looks far-fetched. We saw the way the election day, we saw how it was full in Lagos. Where I stay, the polling units where I stay in Lagos,
Yeah.
Obi won the polling units. Far across Lagos State, Obi won. Obi was winning. So how do you say that Obi did not win? When they said that Obi did not win the election and he came third, I was surprised. He came third and they won. The states were shared 12-12-12. They shared the state 12-12-12 within the three of them. And I'm like, how is it coming? How come? How is this coming up? The election is looks so close and looks so doctored and orchestrated for the Nigerians, and Nigeria feels so used and so dumped. How can we have one of the most decorated professors? We have the likes of the Sir Oleshoyinka, the likes of Chino Achebe, we have great scientists, and Nigeria feels so used with our population. Some people just sit in power and come and use the whole country. Over 200 million people. Some of the elections, like I was going through this. I was going searching on Google, and I landed on the page, and the guy was complaining that he opened INEC portal and saw looking at the result and saw what they uploaded. There was like a local government in the state, I've forgotten the state, and what they uploaded for the result was a picture of somebody. A passport photo.
How bad is that?
How is that? How does that correspond with the results?
We are looking for.
A lot of results like that was doctored, changed with pen, with T-Pex and pen. We are reading T-Pex.
The future of a country. We are using T-Pex to clean it.
The results was announced. How we declare the president-elect as at 4 a.m. in the midnight? Who is up at 4 a.m. listening to
that characters is by this are witchcraft.
I don't know what you announcing. What happened to 9 a.m. news or 10 a.m. What happened in the afternoon or in the night around 4 a.m. early in the morning when people are still preparing for work? Then I'm like, okay. See, one thing I'm still saying, one thing I still tell my friends, or I tell my colleagues, or tell my seniors, is that what saved Lagos?
Mm-hmm.
Lagos is what saved Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the Jagaban of Lagos was that the gubernatorial election and presidential election was not held on the same day. It was on the same day. I'm sure Sir Babatunde Olusola Sanwo-Olu will be on his, will be already packing his load, because Gbadebo would have beaten him black and blue out of the state. Because then like, okay, it seems like he noticed that he lost. I'm sure even Asiwaju himself would be shocked that what happened during this day, what happened this election. How come I'm the Jagaban of Lagos, I'm the city boy? How would I lose my city? It's not here, it's uncalled for. So I'm sure it was reinforcement that the gubernatorial election, by manner, by lightning, by thunder, by power of God.
So you feel if Peter Obi had won the election, we would have had a change of leadership that would have carried this country to the greatest of the greatest place?
Let me talk about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is a man of vision, ambition, a man of dignity, a man of timber and caliber. He was governor of Anambra State. Yes. When he entered into Anambra State, when he entered, he said Anambra was the office was burnt. The office of the governor was burnt. So was the state house was burnt. They brought budget that the budget was running in millions of naira for him to buy bed. He was told that he should import bed. He said, why should he import bed? That it's easy for them, that they are making bed in Abadi. It's easy for him to just sleep. He slept. They manufactured bed in Nigeria. He bought the bed, he did it. They said they want to import paint for him. He said there's no need. People are making, we have localized, we are killing ourselves. How can the government, as supposed to be helping the
people, cannot patronize
the citizens? We are importing paint. But why can't we use our locally produced paint here in Nigeria? They brought about the reinstallment of the government of the billions of naira. He's cut all the budget, he cut everything, and said he's pumped the money into the economy. It's only in Nigeria, according to Mr. Peter Obi, that there's a presidential villa, a presidential lodge in all 33 states. In US, the US that gave us democracy. There's no presidential villa in all the 36, in all 50 states in the United States. There's no presidential lodge. How would they? That is wasting of money.
And the allocations for those presidential lodge are running in billions of money.
According to Peter Obi, he said he was giving the money to build presidential lodge. He said he should pump into the system, the economy of the state. He said Mr. Obasanjo wanted to come to Anambra. Yeah. He said, Sir President, he does. According to him in his interview, when I was listening to it, I was very, very happy. I was just laughing. He said, Sir President, you own the whole country. If you come in the morning, go in the evening to Abuja back. That he does not have anywhere to stay. He does not have anywhere to sleep, to lodge him. That he does not have presidential lodge. That fine, if you insist that you want to stay, you can stay in his house. He declared the state governor's lodge for him. The president steps to the governor's lodge, and he went to go and rent a hotel. He stood in the hotel. He said he spent 3 nights in the hotel for 100,000 naira. That's what he spent. And the president slept. He now have back pain. Nobody paid. And he left. So, I don't know, we waste resources too much in the name of democracy.
Consequential things. As should be pumped back into the economy of the country.
How can you have a bulletproof car and you're using security? That means you don't trust the car. That means I think that's the bulletproof car made in China, or even I think that's made in Aba. Because if you trust, why would you not trust?
All I can say in one way is that our present day democratic leaders are funny.
They are not funny. You claim you have imagine having a bulletproof car like less than 80 million naira. So 80 million naira, you have some people that have 10. That is government fund. And you still be carrying escorts up to like 12 police cars to see for you. Why are they following you?
Why?
You see that you don't trust the products you bought. As the governor of Peter Obi, he invested in Anambra. He left money down for the next governor. He said, according to Peter Obi, he said that there is no way in written in the constitution that you should leave money down for the next governor. How can we have a constitution that is not written for us? That means the constitution means you that is you always hear that debt is being less. You only leave debt, but you don't leave revenue. You only leave expenditure, expenses, debt. You don't leave money down. He left money for the next governor to enter. And if he was lying, we all saw what happened in Anambra when in Atoka, when the president Soludo, the governor, was doing 1 year in power. In 1 year in seat, and this senator Peter Obi came in. He came in late. What happened? He was shut down in the old building. A governor, a sitting governor, is talking, and an ex-governor stepped in, and everybody was shouting. People were like, the DJ was supposed to be locked in the because when the DJ did it was funny. And Mr. Peter Obi entered. The next song he played was the Emperor, the Conqueror, the Champion. When the sitting governor was on the podium giving speech, he had to stop. I mean, the whole hall was in chaos. Because that shows that the Emperor is here. You are just sitting like So he worked. Let's move to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, he has been in the power of ruling Lagos for like 25 years. He has been in power. When I mean ruling, I mean he ruled from 1999 to 2007. Then he has been having a say in Lagos State. He tried. To me, I will not say Tinubu built Lagos because Lagos was already built. What he did was to develop Lagos. He said he entered Lagos and Lagos was revenue was 500 million. He pushed it to 5 billion. So that means he developed. There was not as if there was nothing. Not as if it was building from $0 to $5 billion. So he improved. Then okay, you did all those at the expense of what? So you have been you did for 1997, you did for 8 years. Then but building Lagos doesn't mean that you should be the final say of Lagos.
The godfather.
The godfather. You really nothing moves in Lagos without Asiwaju moving it. You get there's no every governor that after him has been APC. That from after him was Babatunde Fashola, Rani Fashola. Then we had after him was Ambode. Then now Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So he has been one picking and dictating for Lagos State. Now he said Emilio Kong is going for governor president. Let's look at the statistics. Obi also built Anambra. He developed, he left money down, and he left the state. He's a man of vision. Obi has vision for the country. You see him going to countries like China, Vietnam, Egypt, Israel, developing, learning how he's going to improve the infrastructure. He was improving the infrastructure of his state. He wants to improve the infrastructure of Nigeria. He's going to be the first presidential candidate to come from the post-independence, born post-independence. All the remaining people that have been before independence. So he is more of fresh blood for the Nigerian economy. He's still young,
and I think that is what Nigeria needs now to grow.
Nigeria is borrowing a 44 trillion naira debt and still counting. The budget for Nigeria was released when the 2023 budget was released. Our total expenditure is 20%, rise in 20% in 2023. While our total revenue was -9%. That means our physical debt was -69%.
That was bad.
So we are operating in deficit. Like when it comes to budget, depending on budget, there are three types of budget. We have the balanced budget, we have the budget surplus, and budget deficit. What's the balanced budget? The balanced budget is when the proposed expenditure is equal to the revenue. That means there's no plus, there's no addition, there's no more, there's no less. Balance each other, equal. A budget surplus is when there's a surplus in the budget, when the revenue is more than the estimated expenditure.
Yes.
While a budget deficit is when the expected expenditure is more than the revenue on ground or the even generated revenue. Nigeria has been operating a budget deficit. And the budget deficit, 2023 budget, the budget deficit increased by 39%. From 2022 to 2023, we have an increased 39% budget. Of recent, President Muhammadu Buhari borrowed money, 22.74 trillion naira. You are living off his May 29. Please, what are you borrowing money for? These people are just cutting away billions and trillions from Nigeria. Even the Nigerian system, the Nigerian democracy is just robbing. We are just robbing ourselves it's just broad day corruption. This is not democracy. This is demon crazy. This is broad day corruption. Because it's not in Nigeria that a politician will steal 100 billion and will be asked to bail himself out with 500 million. And an average citizen will steal 10,000 and be facing life imprisonment, or be told to bail himself
justice and be burnt on the streets,
or be facing the bail of 1 million. So the constitution of Nigeria favors only the minority. The law is meant for the majority, the masses to follow, and left for the bourgeoisie, the leaders, the elites to break and bend. Nigerian constitution, a friend was telling me that Nigerian constitution is just like this. As they are making the constitution, the eraser is beside it to erase the constitution. Because the constitution is meant for we to follow. How can the constitution be breaking itself?
It's the worst.
Imagine what happened during this election. And the constitution was laid down by the INEC. The Electoral Act was laid down. And the same man that broke the same electoral act.
That was the worst of it.
That's the worst of it all. So now when it comes to Nigeria economy, sometimes I look at Nigeria economy, I feel like crying. Because Nigeria has the problem, what I would say Nigeria's problem came from, if I could trace it a little bit from my best of my knowledge, is from the oil boom era. Nigeria's problem came from the discovery of oil.
So you mean as we discovered our what was meant to be our breakthrough, that's when our problem started?
That's when the problem started. So I tell you why. I'll explain something. The agriculture, Nigeria was developing in agriculture. I got for like cocoa example. Cocoa takes if you plant cocoa, before you start reaping the produce of cocoa, it takes not less than 8 to 12 years before you can start reaping the fruit of your labor from cocoa. We have back in the days, we had the Great Pyramid or Grandest Pyramid in Kano. We have the cocoa house in Ibadan. We have oil, the palm oil, and other mineral resources in the east. The oil boom era, the discovery of oil in 1956 by Shell Darcy. When it was discovered, Nigeria abandoned agriculture totally and focused on oil. Get rich scheme. It's under a day you can make billions of naira from oil. You left long day. You can't not anything. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. If you gain any money that is gained hastily, you leave hastily. For you to know the value of money, you have to labor for it for a long time. For you to be able to use money and you to utilize money well, you have to engage for it in a long time. It's not something you just wake up and do. You not value. Imagine, I say a gift worth nothing, worth little or nothing to a normal human being. If I gift you this phone now, for example, if you break the screen, it won't pay you. Because why? It not buys your money. But imagine you save every nitty-gritty, every penny to afford this phone. Once you get the phone, in fact, you get the phone with your life. You prefer to break your hand than to break the screen of the phone. That is just how it is. What you get without not working, you won't value it. So when we got the oil boom, when Nigeria got discovered oil, we left agriculture totally, eventually into oil. Then God now blessed us. The oil boom era came up in the 1970s, from 1973 to 1974 and 1979. When Nigeria, Sir General Yakubu, former head of state of Nigeria, said money is not the problem of Nigeria, but how to spend it. He said it, that money is not the problem of Nigeria, but how to spend it. That means we have so much money, what we have to do is just be spending. Nigeria, that period, Nigeria was producing 5 million barrels. From 5 million barrels, we increased to 600 million barrels by 1980. Then from 55 million naira, our revenue increased to 10 billion naira. So the money was too much. Then corruption set in. Now Nigeria is experiencing now our oil is losing oil already losing one way or the other, is losing value or losing relevance in the economy in the world today. Nigeria has already eaten itself. You can't eat your cake and have it. Nigeria has eaten its corruption and eaten to itself deep. The CEO of NNPO, Nigerian the NNPC or NNPO, said that they discovered 295 illegal connections to oil to pipeline. Yes, imagine 295 illegal connection.
That's quite a number.
There is no human being that will have 295 illegal connections to his business and that business to survive. In fact, you will crash. Nigeria is using 700,000 barrels per day. That's what we are losing. We are not meeting up with our OPEC quota, because according to OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, there is a limit or there's an amount of barrels that you produce. If you reach, there's a quota, a landmark, a benchmark Nigeria is not meeting up to its standard. Nigeria has dropped. Also, let's look at Naira itself. When Naira first came, when Nigeria was discovered, when Nigeria was established in 1973 by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and Shehu Shagari pushed it up. When Shehu Shagari as president introduced Naira, Naira was stronger than dollar. It was 73 kobo to $1. As at now, 40 years fast forward after, Naira has lost 99.8% of its value. 99.8% of its value, from 73 kobo to $1. Now 750.
We've lost everything.
We have lost 750 naira to $1. From 73 kobo to $1 to now 750 naira to $1. So, and now we are saying we need the guy that said he wants to redesign money. Is it redesigning that is now the problem? Is it redesigning that is the solution to the problem? Is that to solve the problem? We are trying to deviate from solving the problem. Redesign is not do anything.
Insignificant things.
Design is just a way of cutting away more billions
more money. We have to like budget
for printing.
Designing.
So Nigeria is just shooting itself in the leg. All we need now is a Messiah, someone to save. We don't need a Messiah because we have the problem of ourselves. What we have to do, if we don't cleanse ourselves, if we don't cleanse ourselves, there's no way a Messiah never fall from heaven to cleanse Nigeria. We are going to cleanse ourselves. We have to purge ourselves of evil deeds and be able to see the future. Because how can we be having a debt of 44 trillion naira for who to pay? Our children's children. They are laying down debts for the unborn kids.
The solution right now is that we need to first of all purge ourselves, have a redefined purpose of leadership. Most of us just want to go into leadership to embed. Not most of us. Most of the people out there want to go into leadership to embezzle, to steal money. But then the reason why we set up sessions like this is to make them aware, make them educated that the reason why you have to step into power, or the reason why you have to number one have aspiration for power, isn't to just for your own benefit, but number one for the benefit of the people.
Yes.
The people who elected you there, the people who appointed you there, or the people who placed you there. Number one, you have to fight for their rights. And fighting for their rights will not require you to invest with their public funds.
Yes.
So I think that is where we should start from. Proper education, proper awareness of all aspiring leaders to go forth and know that the reason why I want to step into an office isn't just to embezzle, but for the purpose of the people. We have coming gradually to the end of tonight's section. It was quite a section. I really enjoyed it because I don't want to say I'm biased, but this is my area of concern, politics. I think I just changed my WhatsApp description to just politics.
Yes.
So it's my area of concern, it's my area of that where I find of specialization, where I find so much interest in. I think I said it during the creative hangouts we had initially, Techno Evolution, that probably when I'm done with my 5 years of MLS, I think I have just 2 years now. I will bill my certificate back to Abuja to my dad, and I will continue with my political career here in my state of origin. Because we have to integrate ourselves, we have to understand the nitty-gritty of politics. So we that we are coming with positive intentions.
But
we are coming with positive motive.
The youths also, the problem is the youths don't want to venture into politics. If I'm talking about politics, or if I'm talking about politics, my friends will be like, some people will be like, what are you saying? What are you saying? Just need money, just get your money, or maybe just do fraud, or just do something. Let me just tell you one thing. If you don't go into power as an educated literate, to you know good and bad, you know the do's and don'ts. If you don't go into power, then those that are not educated will just go into power and be uselessing we that are educated.
And therefore will be at the disadvantage.
At disadvantage, because we know how Nigeria has a lot of resources to bail itself out of all these debts and to restore back its former glories. But those that are supposed to do it, they are not there. The economy was left for those that are not literate enough to be able to educate or be able to utilize those proper resources.
Imagine someone with just a WAEC certificate coming in as a
Or even a primary school certificate.
as a registrator, or someone that didn't even properly pass his WAEC coming in as a governor and all of that. That is the worst of it. Thank you very much for tonight's session. It has been indeed a time. I enjoyed it. I don't know of you there. I believe you've enjoyed it. So all our listeners out there, this was a very wonderful section, yes. Understanding Nigerian politics and economic system. I hope with all you've learned as an aspiring leader there and as an aspiring politician there, you will go forth with this with good motive and a good mandate to make our country a better place. Once again, thank you all for coming, and once again, thank you very much, Senator AJ, for coming. It's quite a pleasure. We look forward to hosting you once again on this humble platform of
I'm always available. I'm always available. It gives me sleep. My country, Nigeria, I'm always available to my little way.
Very well, that is quite the one. So, my listeners out there, please remember the AUO conversation with Fajek runs every Friday by 7 p.m. here on the Achievers University Students Twitter Space. Come and learn from interesting topics we'll be discussing. Yes, last week we discussed about leadership. This week we are discussing Nigerian politics and economy. And next week we'll be discussing another very interesting topic. So please don't miss out. Let your people know about this. And it's going to be the best for you. Thank you all for coming. See you next week Friday. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.